All right, hey there, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith as we're tracking what's going on with Hurricane Helene. This is likely going to be a terrible hurricane for Florida's Big Bend region and the central and eastern sections of the Florida Panhandle, as well as the Florida Peninsula and on up into Georgia and South Carolina. This is a large hurricane. The latest update from the National Hurricane Center has the tropical storm force winds extending out 345 miles from the center. So it is large in size, and that's why it's going to have a bigger impact than the average hurricane. And this could be a major hurricane too. So not only is it large, but it also could be quite big and intense. So let's track it. I want to bring up some of the maps here first and show you what's going on with Helene here this evening. We have it as a Category 1 storm. Winds at 85, and the pressure's down to 974. As the pressure goes down, the winds typically go up, and it's right off the tip of the Yucatan, and it's about to cross the Gulf Loop current, which will put it in an environment that's very favorable for strengthening, not just in the Gulf with the warm water, but also aloft with an upper trough swinging in, giving it a boost and a light wind shear environment. We are in Storm Tracker alert mode because we have a hurricane in the Gulf, and it will come close to the area. It may not hit us directly, but we could see some tropical storm conditions Thursday and Thursday night. I expect a high rip current risk both Thursday and Friday, and the beach forecast reflects that. We're going to see rip current danger tomorrow and Friday, so swimming is not advised at all as these big swells are coming in. It may be a little better by Saturday. The overall impacts with Helene. Yeah, we're expecting this thing to work its way into the Florida Big Bend region. The official forecast cone from the National Hurricane Center is somewhere from about Panama City over to just past St. Marks, Florida. And then there are going to be big wind impacts away from the center. So if you see the purple coloration, it's not in the cone. It extends beyond the cone. There's a portion of it that's in the cone, but there's also a portion of it that's not in the cone, and that is the Florida Peninsula all the way down to about Tampa. Could see even hurricane conditions with the wind field being so very large, and so that's going to cause big problems there. We're on the northerly side of this thing. We're going to have a north wind, and that's really going to make for minimal impacts here, although we do have that rip current situation going on. Now, looking at the storm right now, what is it doing? How is it looking mechanically right now? Well, we do see, we have seen there late in the evening kind of a cloud-filled eye. It is still a cloud-filled eye at this point. The eye wall does show up on radar. And looking at on satellite imagery right now, we're seeing a deep burst of convection on the southern flank of this system. The upper level outflow is showing what we would see in a classic strengthening hurricane situation, and it is a large cloud canopy that we're seeing with this storm too, so it is sizable in nature. There's not a lot to slow this thing down. There's a little drier air in the northwestern Gulf. We can start to see signs of that trough digging in down around Houston, Texas. That is what's going to steer it a little more northeasterly and not bringing it straight north or straight to the northwest towards our part of the Gulf Coast. This is the Fox 10 viewing area. We stretch from Pascagoula, Mississippi over to about Destin, Florida, and inland up to about Evergreen, Alabama, and Chatham, as well as Leakesville. So we're not included in the high impact portion of this storm based on the forecast, which is pretty high confidence forecast. Computer models are clustered to our east. The track of the storm will move across the Gulf Loop current, and I'll try and highlight that for you here so that you can see, you know, if you're looking at it on a smartphone, if you're watching this on a smartphone, you may not be able to see these temperature contour lines, but there is a little tongue of very warm water right here, and it really extends up to about right there where you have that darker coloration, and the water's a little warmer here. We have higher oceanic heat content in this location compared to other parts of the Gulf, and that could be a real problem in aiding in intensification. And the area that is highlighted here in purple, or I should say in red, right here near Tallahassee, that is a hurricane warning. So there are hurricane warnings up. They do not include our area. This is all the hurricane warned area here, southern Georgia up into central Georgia and all along the coast. You got St. George's Island and over towards Panacea and then back around to St. Marks and a hurricane warning. The closest county to us under an advisory would be Walton County is in a tropical storm warning, and we have tropical storm warnings up for the coastal waters off of our beaches. We're just not included in the warned part of it because we're on the west side. It is an 85 mile per hour category 1, pressure 974. It's moving north at 12, and it's located about 430 miles southwest of Tampa. Here is the official track from the National Hurricane Center, and it shows the intensity forecast as a category 4 storm by tomorrow, and this will be a large 4, so it could have a much bigger impact than an average category 4 if it makes it to 4. And this is the likely scenario. The models all are hinting at rapid intensification tonight and tomorrow, so we'll see how strong this thing gets. Hopefully the models are wrong, but the intensity models have been suggesting a major hurricane. The potential for storm surge is high. We don't expect tides above normal more than about a foot or 2 above normal in our local area. But if we zoom in on Appalachia Bay, this is like a bowl. It's like a pocket. And so the water, the shelf waters are relatively shallow here, and it is optimal to produce storm surge in this region here. It is a very sparsely populated section of coast where this may come ashore initially. There's a pretty good sized town of Perry, Florida just up the road, but we don't see this thing affecting, as if it moves ashore according to the current track, areas where there are a lot of beach houses and condominiums like you would normally see at a Gulf beach. Really from Horseshoe Beach all the way back around until you get to St. George's Island, there's the population density is lower along the immediate coast, but the threat of surge 15 to 20 feet could push it way inland. So this is definitely a potentially devastating situation there. I'm expecting wind impacts to reach up into Georgia with significant to catastrophic hurricane force winds. The wind field, the hurricane force wind field in red, extends north of Albany, Georgia. It includes areas around Dothan and Apalachicola, Cedar Key, and then we could get some tropical storm conditions here tomorrow with the rain bands, especially in Santa Rosa and Okaloosa counties, mostly breezy northerly winds for us. This graph Futurecast is a little bit to the east of a lot of the global models, but it's within the cone. And you can see with this depiction here, most of the significant rain bands are going to be just to the east of our area. However, the outer bands will affect Okaloosa and Santa Rosa counties tomorrow, so the rain chance is a lot higher there. This thing's going to punch up into Georgia and then get absorbed into a low pressure area that's non-tropical in nature. It's the upper trough that's steering it. So it gets absorbed and it's going to create a lot of rain up into the mid-south before it falls apart and weakens. We could get some significant flooding in the Appalachians. We're in Storm Tracker alert mode because of that rip current danger locally, and also the fact we've got a hurricane in our backyard in the Gulf, crossing the Gulf. But by Friday, we may be able to drop that alert early. We'll see how the rip current situation is going. Daytime highs tomorrow will be in the low 80s with a northerly wind. It will be breezy. We'll be down in the mid-60s tomorrow night and mid-60s again Friday night. Comfortable weather on the backside of Helene for us, but definitely a dangerous storm for folks in Florida. And we're talking about the Big Bend area more, and really from Defuniak Springs eastward. It's not going to be the portion of the Panhandle that we cover, which is Okaloosa, Santa Rosa, and Escambia. But once you get over closer to Tallahassee, this could be a really bad storm. And one of the things that's alarming to me about it is it's just such a fast mover. It's moving fast now, and it's going to pick up forward speed, and it's likely going to rapidly intensify. Not a good situation, not a lot of time to prepare. We will see an uptick in evacuation traffic. We've already seen that some on Interstate 10. That'll be happening through the night and into the morning hours tomorrow ahead of Helene. We'll have complete coverage on Fox 10 News tonight and again tomorrow morning on our morning show. Thanks for joining us for this detailed update.